And of course, hand in hand with sculpting is navigation. I've kind of been doing it just out of habit, but there's a couple different ways to navigate from within ZBrush. One way is you can go over here to the right and you're going to see move, zoom, and rotate. So if you click the move button and just kind of, so you click and you hold and you just move around, that is going to pan your object. If you click and hold, that'll zoom, and you click and hold, that'll rotate. You probably don't want to be going over here all the time while you navigate. ZBrush is set up to be very navigation friendly while you work, so you can just kind of work in your interface over here, not constantly have to go over here to move. Now, reading through the documentation, they have two methods of navigation that's documented. They have the original navigation as ZBrush, which is what I use, and they also have right-click navigation. So with right-click navigation, and you know what, I'm going to go ahead and open these up, this document menu up. I'll go ahead and put the navigation right here on the video, just for something to reference while the video is going. So for the right click navigation, if you want to move or pan, you're going to also hold down Alt on your keyboard and then right click and drag, and that's going to move your object around. If you want to scale, you're going to want to Control right click and drag, and that'll zoom in and out from your cursor position. So if I go up here to the right, it'll zoom up here to the right of the head. If I go down here to the bottom left, it'll go to his lip, or I can zoom into his eyeball, or I can zoom into his mouth. It's kind of up to you. So wherever you control and then click and drag, it will zoom into your cursor position. If you want to rotate around your model, you can right click and drag, and you can do that on top of the model or out here in the canvas. It doesn't really matter. And while you're rotating, if you hold down Shift, it'll snap to the front in this case, the side, the top. You're just going to want to start rotating in that direction, then hold down Shift, and it'll go ahead and snap it in that direction. Now we're going to go ahead and call this an orthographic view, and it's not a true orthographic because we have perspective turned on. So if I turn perspective off, now this is a true orthographic view. I can hold down, I can right click and drag and then hold down Shift, and we can snap it to the front or snap it to the bottom here, and then we can Control right click to zoom, so we can kind of zoom in and out on the object, and then Alt right click to move your object into place. Now, I'm not a huge fan of using Alt and Control and having to keep track of those buttons, so I use the classic ZBrush navigation, which is basically if you have a Wacom tablet, I'm using a Wacom tablet, and if you want to utilize the full sculpting ability of ZBrush, I highly recommend, not necessarily a Wacom tablet, just a pressure sensitive tablet. I don't care about the brand, but you are going to want pressure sensitivity within ZBrush. So in order to navigate the classic way, let's call it, all you need to do is click anywhere around your object in the document, and that'll go ahead and rotate. If you hold down Alt and click anywhere around your object, now if you click on your object, it's going to want to sculpt on it. If you click anywhere in your document and hold down Alt, it'll pan. So you can rotate just by clicking in your document, and then you can hold down Alt and click in your document, and that'll pan your object. If you want to zoom in, you can hold down Alt, tap, and start panning, and then let go of Alt, and that'll go ahead and zoom. So, you know, it might be an acquired taste, and it's also, if you hold down Shift, it'll go ahead and snap to the different views. I don't have any real recommendations of what type of navigation you'd like to use. I prefer a classic because I've been using ZBrush since the old days, but whichever method of navigation works for you, I say go ahead and do it. But I will say if you want to get fast in ZBrush, leave these alone unless you need to do something very specific. Go ahead and just do either classic or right click navigation to kind of navigate around your scene. So, and also don't get frustrated. Just like any new 3D program, it's going to take you a little while to get adjusted and kind of navigating around in 3D space, but once you get that down, that's half the battle. Actually, while we're talking about navigation, there's just a few things I want to touch on. So one is frame. So you're going to see fit mesh to view is F. You can either tap that key or you can just tap F, and that'll go ahead and frame wherever your object is. If it's way over here out of the sight, just hit F and that'll frame the selected subtool. We'll get into subtools later. But you can hit F to frame, and you'll also notice around your canvas you're going to have this white line here. That's a safe action line. So if you ever zoomed in really far and you're kind of sculpting and you want to rotate, of course you can use right click navigation and it'll rotate just fine. But if you're using classic ZBrush navigation, you can go to the safe action over here, and that will mean I don't want to sculpt on my object. I'm in my safe action zone, so I want to navigate. So you can actually navigate in your safe action over here. So now we can kind of pull out and see our entire mesh.